Elon unfollows Omar's blog and apparently blocks him. That's Omar, my friend Omar Kazi. And then AJ, Allo starts taking shots at Omar, like gloating about Omar, like attacking Omar for no reason I can think of. And I want to relate this. If you've been following Tesla for a while, there's a lot of influencers. If you go back to the past, the OG world, we had K10, we had Omar, we had Rob Tesla Daily, Rob Maurer, we had Dave Lee, who would talk about Tesla. I came in, Stephen Mark Ryan came in, Farzad comes in. There's all these, Herbert came in. We went from, 4 or 5 content creators. Dylan Loomis, I don't remember when Dylan came in. We went from 4 or 5 content creators to like 50, if not more. There's something that happens. There's a societal thing. I call it why are mommy and daddy fighting. You see Omar's fighting with AJ, or, I had a big fight with Tesla Boomer Mama a while back, and shots. I'm going to take another shot at Gary Black later in this video. Like, there's all these people in the community, and you have different. I would describe it as different influencers become important. They get different followings, and you want to say, like Gary Black will say, Tesla bulls should all get along. It's like, well, we don't all have the same goals. So what happens when it started? It was like, we're really excited about this company that has great technology and that is going to really help improve the environment, right? By reducing air pollution and, making safer cars and making cool cars that we like. And we're tired of gas cars and we want to have electric cars. The early days of Tesla was people excited about really cool electric cars. When you have a small group, right, everybody's on the same goals. And then as the situation evolves and, things change, you go from a bunch of people who are excited about the company and excited about the mission and excited about electric vehicles and the products to especially people who are excited about the stock. And I'm like a long-term stock guy. I'm wearing the Tesla Man t-shirt, by the way, no longer available for sale, unfortunately, but one of my favorite t-shirts. So you have people who get excited about the stock, and you have people who are long-termers like me about the stock that are like, where's the stock going to be in 2030? Where's the stock going to be in 2035? And not really worried like, what's the stock going to be tomorrow? I just don't care. And you have the short-term traders and the people who are like gaming the stock. And then you have people who in the early days, Tesla was primarily appealing to California Democrats and to Democrats in general. And Republicans didn't like electric vehicles. And then Elon takes this turn where he's supporting Republicans after Democrats shot at him for 5 years or whatever. So all of a sudden the Democrat leaning, the people who identify more as Democrats than Tesla fans start getting angry at Tesla. Start getting angry at Elon and get angry at Ross Gerber is a perfect example of this. The guy's highly partisan Democrat and he flips out. It's not just Tesla community. If you look at the suffrage movement, if you go back to the 1800s, roughly 1870, something like that, there was this movement after the Civil War was over, and are blacks going to get the right to vote? Are women going to get the right to vote? And there were different groups that were pushing for the right to vote. And then at a certain point, there was a decision made, we're going to push for blacks to get the right to the vote, and women will be next. And some of the women were like, no, wait a minute. We should go at the same time. And some of the women said, yes, let's get blacks the right to vote first, whatever. And there's different factions and different leaders. And it ended up that blacks got the right to vote in 1870 and women waited till 1920. I think you see that any movement, any group, as it grows, you end up with different people who become leaders, and people start to become self-important. And I'm sure I can be accused of being self-important, and you get what I call smarter than Elon disease, where you get people who start saying, oh, Elon doesn't know what he's doing. Tesla needs to advertise. Elon doesn't know what he's doing. Tesla should do a stock split. Tesla should acquire XAI. Like, there's all these people who think they know better about what the company should do than Elon and the Tesla team. It's possible Elon's smarter than us. It's possible that Tesla team knows more about what they're doing than we do. Right? So you just see a lot of these different things happen. So we had one of these incidents today. So Elon unfollows Omar's blog. He's one of the biggest influencers in the Tesla community, an OG, old guy, old guard influencer, one of the original FSD beta testers, published so many videos. He's unfollowed Omar like 4 times before, and he'll follow him again probably in a month or two. Who knows? And I just don't worry about it. And Omar's not worried about it either. Right? It's one of those things like these things happen and these things go away. But it created drama. And in particular, AJ created drama. Like most people saw this and they're like, oh, come on, Elon, don't unfollow Omar. Come on, like a lot of people are like begging for Elon to refollow Omar, unblock him, whatever. And AJ's just kind of, I think he's gotten full of himself. I think he's a bright guy. I think he has some interesting ideas, but he started to think he's smarter than he is, right? And this is a pattern that you see, that somebody gets too big for their britches, so to speak, and he starts to think he's smarter than Omar. He's smarter. He's going to take shots at me, whatever. And it doesn't take long. They think they're smarter than Elon. I saw AJ take a shot at Omar, and I said, "Hey, I've spent quality time with Omar in person. We text each other. We don't. It's not like we're like hanging out all the time, but we became personal friends. And I mean all of this. Omar is an amazing guy. He's extremely smart. He's got tremendous energy, tremendous focus, just tremendous focus. He has a great sense of humor. You might not like his sense of humor, but he has a great sense of humor. He's very patient with people who don't understand, and he'll explain things. And I think he makes people smile. I'm not saying he's perfect. I'm not saying he doesn't piss people off. I'm not saying he hasn't done some bad things in his life. Maybe he has. I don't know. But he's just a very impressive guy. And I said, AJ, you don't know him. Stop. Because I know him, right? I don't know why he's taking these shots at Omar. I'm happy to be the same retard campus Elon, my retard, and like whatever. He's taking all these shots at Omar. And I said, stop it. I didn't call AJ any names. Notice I didn't say anything nasty about AJ here. I just said, stop picking on Omar. Don't do that. He called me a retard, of course. He said scammers are always very nice in person. And this is important because he calls Omar a charlatan. He calls Omar a scammer. Now, if you don't know Omar's history, Omar is the one who sniffed out Trevor Milton. Trevor Milton and Nikola Motors, the hydrogen trucking company. They had some event where he invited a bunch of influencers in, and Omar's in the room, and Omar sniffed it out. Omar sniffed out. Oh, I think Omar called the Nikola fraud before anybody else. Omar's content is not misleading. Omar is obviously been over optimistic about FSD, like all of us. Over optimistic about Tesla. He's not misleading. His content harmed countless retail investors. What are you talking about? Who bought because of him at exactly the wrong time. There's no wrong time to buy Tesla. This is an example of what's wrong with AJ. And what happened, what we didn't see, I didn't see this coming with AJ, and I see it now clearly. But listen, scammer, bought at the wrong time. What is the wrong time? There's no wrong time to buy Tesla stock. He says, I'm defending a charlatan, which makes you as a moron. Who is this guy? It doesn't say it here. Something about dollars up here. If you read this, it's your lucky day. Financial markets researcher. Share entry exit points on stocks. Entry exit points on stocks? I'm the source for deep insights. Does this guy sound modest and humble? And does he sound like a long-term investor? Right? Remember when I talked back earlier about what's the mission? What are we about? Are we about the mission of the company to accelerate the transition to sustainable energy? We're excited about electric vehicles. We're excited about self-driving cars and technology. We're long-term investors, and we're looking for where's this company going to be in 2030? Or are we playing games with when's the dip and when's the high and when can I buy and when should I sell? Right? And do guys who talk like this, who's the scammer? Who's the charlatan? Guys who talk like this, that I can tell you when to buy and I can tell you when to sell? No, that's BS. That's nonsense. This is about 20 hours ago now. He complains about Omar blocking him, and then 14 hours later, he brags about blocking me. Okay, this is drama, right? This is a drama queen. This is a guy who's, I just wanted to share with you, I've seen this meltdown so many times. We've seen Barry Glack meltdown. We've seen Lost Gerbil meltdown. Gary Black, Ross Gerber, Ben Sullins. It's just like a stream of influencers, people who become influential in the community, and they have these meltdowns. And I'm only getting started. Like, there's so many that this has happened to. And just said, go off for a second. So I covered that, and I just want to mention, like, I've taken my shots at Gary Black. He's Barry Glack, as I call him, has blocked me 4 times now. I believe this 4th one is the permanent one. I don't think I'm getting back, and I don't care. It's comical because I can see his posts and I can share them. I can't quote post him, but fine, I'll screenshot you and post you. And I did this with this one. We continue to post on Tesla because many of our followers ask us daily what might be a good reentry point. See, this is short-term trader stuff, when to enter or when to exit. And we would venture a Tesla reentry price in the $250 range, 30% below our $358 exit. I don't think he really exited at $358. I think he's misleading here. After the new, more affordable Tesla is announced and turns out to be a lower cost Model Y or 3 and not a new form factor. Now, they've said that the new affordable models will be 20% less expense, lower cost. I think it's really hard to get 20% of the cost out of the car without changing the form factor. I could be wrong. Like, they don't have leather seats now. Or are you going to go to cloth and that's going to save you? How much money is that going to save you? You're going to take out the rear screen. There's not a lot of cost savings there by decontenting the car. And they have said they don't decontent cars. That's not the Tesla strategy. Franz and Lars both said basically that's not going to happen. Imagine if you followed Barry Glack and you waited for 250 and the stock falls to 280. And no, Barry says, hold the line. Don't wait for 250. And then it goes to 600. Right? This is bogus. If you believe in the company, if you believe in the stock, if you believe in a company that is delivering, that now has robo-taxis operating, that has cars that are delivering themselves from the factory to the home, which we're going to talk about later, and you see where that goes in terms of value creation, and not to mention Optimus, then like this 250, 350, who gives a crap if it's going to be $10,000 a share in 8 years, right? 5 years, whatever. It's going to be $5,000 a share in 5 years, and you care whether it's you buy in at 250 or 350. This is not long-term investor thinking. If you are looking for someone to give you tips on when to, buy at 250 or 350, I'm not that guy. I think it's going to $5,000 a share, and I think it's a good buy at $500 a share. Like Omar wasn't wrong to tell you to buy at 480. If you're planning to hold for 5-10 years, doesn't matter what price you buy. It's better to buy cheaper, but it's better to buy at 500 than not to buy. Okay, that's my take on things. So then the other thing I want to mention, this is Squawk Square. His name is in here. Squawk Square is another one of those accounts that's a trader that pretends to be a Tesla bull some of the time. Tesla Q Cat, James Cat is another one. They sort of pretend to be Tesla bulls, but they're not really Tesla bulls. So he makes this claim that Tesla Robotaxi Road has started, and users are taking the internet to share their horror stories. What the hell are you talking about, horror stories? There's no horror stories. There hasn't been even a crash. There's no injuries. There's no crashes. Where's the horror stories? But he says the fact that there were this many errors will not fly with NHTSA. NHTSA? Robotaxis, whether they're in California with Waymo or Chandler, Arizona with Waymo or Austin with Waymo and Tesla or whatever, they're not governed by the NHTSA. They're governed by the state and maybe the city. The federal government doesn't regulate robotaxis yet. It may come about that the federal government decides to start regulating autonomous cars and robotaxis, but they don't do it yet. That's not a federal function. So this is just a kind of dumb stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if NHTSA puts the Tesla Cybercab launch on hold. Cybercab isn't going to start manufacturing until 2026. What are you talking about? Like it just doesn't even make sense. You get these guys, like, they think they know what they're talking about. Tesla Q Cat does this. There's a whole bunch of them that do this. So over the years, I noticed when people are in the red, all of a sudden some people get caught up in, like, what was the guy's name? Tesla Economist is another example. He was always a fake. He basically copied Stephen Mark Ryan. If you look at the early Tesla Economist videos and you look at the Stephen Mark Ryan videos of the Solving the Money Problem videos at the time, he's just copying Stephen Mark Ryan and copying me a little bit. His analysis was always copying me and Steve. Stephen and I, we're like identical twin cousins. Never done a video together. It's like, what would the point be? We agree on everything. He's just smarter, better looking, and works harder. At some point, Lee, Tesla Economist, bet like some crazy amount of money of his family money on options, and it blew up in his face. And then that was Elon's fault. Instead of nobody told you to buy options and bet it all on options. Barry represents investors. No, Barry represents short-term traders. He doesn't represent investors. An investor is somebody who's investing in the company because they believe in the company and they think that the company will succeed long term. A trader is someone who says, well, we buy at this price point and we sell at this price point, we'll make money. You don't have to believe in the company to do that. So my view is you're not an investor if you're doing a short-term trading strategy. You're a trader. There's traders and there's investors. Investors say, I like this company, I believe in this company long term, I think this is going to go up and I'm going to buy it. Now, you might not buy because you think it's overpriced compared to where you think it's going. Okay, well, and then when the stock goes down to a certain point, you say, hey, now I think it's priced appropriately for where I think it's going in the future. But if you're like me and you think Tesla's going to 25x, 50x, whatever, then it really doesn't matter whether you buy at 250 or 400. I think my highest buy was like 350 or 380, and my lowest buy was I started buying at 10. When I have free cash, I buy the stock. I don't pay attention to what the stock is trading at a given moment. And when I have to sell, I sell. Wanted to buy a Model Y, I had to sell some stock. Sucked because I sold at 240. Damn it. Don't cry for me. I'll be okay. So move some from. I think Nvidia is. So Mark says he moved some from Tesla to Nvidia. I think Nvidia is a good investment. I don't have a feel for like what's Nvidia's long term. Like, is there competition coming? Will the market grow enough for it? Will there be enough energy generation to support all the chips that Nvidia is going to make? I think there's some issues on the long term horizon for Nvidia, and I'm not saying it won't be successful. It's just like I don't know how to account for that looking forward. I don't see the same problems with robotaxi that I see potentially with Nvidia. I still think like if I didn't have Tesla to invest in, I probably would invest it all in Nvidia. But I'm not sure. I would do a deeper dive. There's going to be drama in the Tesla community. There's going to be drama in the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. Whatever community you're involved in, there's going to be drama. Don't let it get to you. Don't let it change how you view investing. Don't let it cause you to lose your passion for the company, for the stock, for the technology, for the mission. And you can find it entertaining, but just don't get overstressed about it and then worry that it has any really big consequence. Omar didn't sweat this conflict. Elon didn't sweat this conflict. If you don't know, Elon said it was a mistake when he unfollowed Omar. He said fat fingers or something like that. That's fine. And a whole bunch of people overreacted, which is, we see this all the time. So don't panic. Thanks, everybody.